Who's not ready yet? The audience? Who's not? What are we waiting?
Okay, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with you. I just want to start by saying we had a meeting yesterday on the Department of Education, which is being moved. We're going to educate the children in their states where they can get a proper education. The numbers are horrible the way it is, and we're going to make a move that's very big. I don't think it's even, and there was great excitement and great acceptance of it by almost everybody, including a lot of Democrats, actually. I do want to say that I've decided that the SBA, the Small Business Administration, headed by Kelly Loeffler, is a terrific person, will handle all of the student loan portfolio. We have a portfolio that's very large, lots of loans, tens of thousands of loans, pretty complicated deal. And that's coming out of the Department of Education immediately, and it's going to be headed up by Kelly Loeffler at SBA, and they're all set for it. They're waiting for it, and it'll be serviced much better than it has in the past. It's been a mess. And also, Bobby Kennedy, the Health and Human Services, will be handling special needs and all of the nutrition programs and everything else. Rather complex, but that's going to be headed by and handled by Health and Human Services. So I think that'll work out very well. Those two elements will be taken out of the Department of Education, and then all we have to do is get the students to get guidance from the people that love them and cherish them, including their parents, by the way, who will be totally involved in their education, along with the boards and the governors and the states. And it's going to be a great situation. I guarantee that in a few years from now, I hope I'm going to be around to see it, but I think we're going to see a lot of it. I think that you're going to have tremendous results. You're going to have results like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, a lot of the countries that do so well. I think you're going to have a lot of those results. If you look at Iowa and Indiana and Idaho, so many places that run so well, Florida, Texas, big ones, you're going to have great education, much better than it is now at half the cost. And we're not even doing it as a cost item, although you will save probably half, maybe more than that. And you're not going to be at the bottom of the list. You're going to be much higher. And maybe you'll be, I will guarantee some of the states will be at the top of the list. They'll be comparable or better than these number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the countries that are in the top 5 positions. So that's, to me, it's very exciting, and it's been received very well. So I just wanted to tell you about the student loans and special needs. But we're here for a reason today that is very exciting, and I'm thrilled to announce that at my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first 6th generation fighter jet. Number 6, 6th generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it. And it'll be known as the F-47. The generals picked a title, and it's a beautiful number, F-47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have to payload. And this has been in the works for a long period of time. After a rigorous and thorough competition between some of America's top aerospace companies, the Air Force is going to be awarding the contract for the next generation air dominance platform to Boeing. As you know, it was highly competed for. There was a lot of competition, generals, and it's been going on for a long time. Very, very tough competition, but this plane is produced numbers that nobody's ever seen before. The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them, and it's not even close. This is a next level. You know, level 5 is good. This is level 6, they say. The F-47 is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth technology. It's virtually unseeable and unprecedented power. It's got the most power of any jet of its kind ever made. Maneuverability, likewise, is there's never been anything like it, despite the power and speed. Its speed is top. It's over 2, which is something that you don't hear very often. America's enemies will never see it coming. Hopefully, we won't have to use it for that purpose, but you have to have it. And if it ever happens, they won't know what the hell hit them.
You heard it.
A new fleet of these magnificent planes will be built in the during my administration over the next couple of years. It's ready to go. They've already built much of what has to be built in terms of production, including the sheds. We'll ensure that the USA continues to dominate the skies. We've given an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price because it would give way to some of the technology and some of the size of the plane, good-sized plane. This contract also represents a historic investment in our defense industrial base, helping to keep America at the cutting edge of aerospace and technology. Our allies are calling constantly. They want to buy them also, and certain allies will be selling them, perhaps toned-down versions. We like to tone them down about 10%, which probably makes sense because someday maybe they're not our allies, right? But I would like to ask Secretary Hegseth, who's doing a fantastic job. He's really been very inspiring in so many ways, and I must say that before he speaks, we have had record people wanting to join our military in the last 2.5 months, literally since this, I think probably since the election, November 5th, but especially since we came to office and since I announced Pete. He's young, he's smart, he's strong, he loves it, and they love him. But we've had record numbers of people wanting to join our military. Now, if you go back 6 months, it was the exact opposite. You had record numbers of people not wanting to join the military. Now you have record numbers of people wanting to be in our military. And that's a great honor. That shows you we're really on the right track. So, Pete, maybe you'd say a few words.
Sure.
Please.
Well, Mr. President, this is a big day. This is a big day for our warfighters. This is a big day for our country. Of next generation.
I don't think, hold on, I just don't think, I just don't think that is I mean, I think it's amazing, right? I think it's absolutely amazing that we're getting people that want to be part of the military and stuff. I think it's amazing that we're getting cool planes and stuff and that we're going to give it to people, but I think it's crazy that we're bragging about somebody will never see it be done if we have to do it. It's like, we never have to do anything. Like, there's violences never have to be, like, they've been secretly flying for 5 years. What was going on? Did you put them into play 5 years ago and you kept it a secret and didn't tell anybody because you're like, oh, dude, this is what's going to happen? Oh my God, did you really have more pull than everybody thought? Right? Right? Like, oh man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's interesting. Oh, golly. We'll go into it where, right, everybody talked about the border bill. Trump shot down the border bill. Everybody's like, the guy shot down. I'm like, how could a guy shoot down a bill who's not even the president? He's nobody, like, nobody wanted him when he was in there. Like, he couldn't get anything done. Like, people wanted him, but he couldn't do anything, and it was hindering. Like, I don't know. I always liked Trump. But now I'm sitting here listening to this, and it's like, I don't think we need to be making so many threats, right? Like, we're going to tone them down because we don't know if our allies will always be our allies. Like, it's just like, dude, man, I feel like we're setting up for a war structure here. Like, I feel like we're diving in for a nice war structure, and you're just like, let's bring it on. Like, I want to play a game of Risk. Fucking let's bring it all at me, and we will prevail, right? Like, dude, I don't know. I'm not totally feeling it. I mean, I get it that we need to be powerful, but at the same given point, we need to be powerful for the other things that you're bringing stuff home. Like we need to be making deals right now. We need to be making deals. Ukraine, Russia, like everybody saw what's going on. I'm like, dude, why can't we be friends? Ukraine, Russia, dude, Ukraine, stop fucking around, dude. You're part Russia. Like, understand, like, Russia's not that bad. Russia, are you that bad? I know you've been getting the grunt of it for so many years. I understand, you know, everybody's been blaming it on you, all the movies and shit, and it's cool because we shut down all Russian propaganda to all of the NATO countries, so our people see none of it. But what's going on? America sees it. Like, America gets Russia now. It's very interesting. Snapchat's a very interesting place. Ukraine, what's going on? You're blacked out. What, to protect people? And Russia is not to protect people. Ukraine is sending long-range missiles into Russia, and we don't have Russia blocked out, but we have Ukraine blocked out of fear of seeing where people congregate. Like, that doesn't seem very ethical to have one country and one country not. And it's the only country that allows Russian propaganda. Like, what? And then, golly, it's a lot to uncover within the political landscape. Let's go into what this guy's saying.
Of air dominance. And Mr. President, because of your leadership, your clarity, America is going to have generations in the future of air dominance because of this sixth generation fighter. We've had the F-15, we have had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35. Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message to our allies that we're not going anywhere, and to our enemies that we will be able to project power around the globe unimpeded for generations to come. Mr. President, this is a gift.
Like, okay, I feel as if building up, it's cool. Like, everybody knows people got them. We don't got to taunt them, right? Everybody knows people got them. It's like, yeah, we get it. The war is going to be sent differently. None of us need to do this shit. Like, none of us need to send drone freaking missiles into places. Like, come on right now. Yeah, our flight people, our flight people should 110% all be like NASA certified or MIT certified or something, right? Doppler radar people are certified, to do our weather. I just look up the certifications in the requirements for a flight control. What is the air traffic controller? We have a whole video on it, like a Phantom Pack Dave air traffic control, air traffic. I wish I knew how to sing. I don't need to. I have this. Oh man, but yeah, the air traffic control, all the stuff. We do need to have better control over what's ahead of us, and I mean, we defend. It's just like, dude, we could all be friends. I don't understand. I mean, I get it. You're showing it, but it's just like, man, we could be friends. Oh golly. Yep.
To my kids and your kids, to my grandkids and your grandkids. This is a historic investment in the American military, in the American industrial base, in American industry that will help revive the warrior ethos inside our military, which we're doing, rebuild our military, which the previous administration did not do, by the way, Mr. President. They paused this program and were prepared to potentially scrap it. We know this is cheaper, longer range, and more stealthy. President Trump said we're reviving it and we're doing it. And then we are also going to reestablish deterrence. Under the previous administration, we looked like fools. Not anymore. President Trump has reestablished American leadership. The F-47 is part of it. And Mr. President, thank you for having the courage to do it and leading the way for all our warfighters.
Thank you very much, Pete. one of the things I will say, but the generals are going to speak in just a couple of seconds, but this plane flies with drones. It flies with many, many drones, as many as you want, and it's a technology that's new, but it doesn't fly by itself. It flies with many drones, as many as we want, and that's something that no other plane can do. So I'd like to introduce, if I might, Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin, and also General Dale White, two incredible people
Why
that I've
are we
known over the
talking
years.
about all
but
this?
I got to know them really well over the last few months. And would you say a few words, please, General?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for your unwavering commitment to our military. I will say this is a big day. This is a big day for our United States Air Force as well. You know, air dominance is not a birthright, but it's become synonymous with American air power. But air dominance needs to be earned every single day. And since the earliest days of aerial warfare, brave American airmen have jumped into their machines, taken to the air, and they've cleared the skies. And whether that be clearing the skies so we can rain down destruction on our enemies from above, or we can clear the path to the ground forces below. That's been our commitment to the fight, and that's really been our promise to America. And with this F-47 as the crown jewel in the next generation air dominance family of systems, we're going to be able to keep that promise well into the future. I also want to thank everyone from industry and within government, our engineers who have worked tirelessly on this program to bring it where we are right now today. This shows that American talent, American skill, and American determination are second to none because this platform is second to none. So we believe that this provides more lethality, it provides more capability, more modernized capability in a way that is built to adapt. This, along with our collaborative combat aircraft the President talked about with drones, this is allowing us to look into the future and
go quiet
unlock
when he
the
said
magic
drones.
that is
He's
human
like, we
machine
weren't
teaming.
supposed to talk about that.
And as we do that, we're going to write the next generation of modern aerial warfare with this. This enables us to do this. The manner in which we put this program together puts more control in the hands of the government, so we can update and adapt at the speed of relevance, at the speed of technology, not at the speed of bureaucracy. This is more Air Force. This is more options for the President. We say as our mission in the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win air power anytime, anywhere. If you want to go anywhere, you have to have a platform that gets you anywhere. This provides the President options from the very one end, which is a quick response, and then we can get right back into fight and stance without having to deploy troops that are going to take maybe months and cost more lives. We can be back in fight and stance, and maybe we restore that deterrence. All the way to decisive victory as part of a joint force that is the most lethal and capable military ever known in history. That's what we provide now, and this allows us to provide it into the future. It's more deterrence, more capability. It's what peace through strength looks like into the future, Mr. President. And so we're very proud to do that. And all we can say is, on behalf of the United States Air Force, let's deliver.
Thank you very much. Thank you, General. Would you like to say something?
No, sir, I'll just double down what the chief said.
He knows what to do.
This is a generational
He knows
lead,
who the boss
and
is. Look
that's
at
exactly
that.
right. Air superiority is what it's all about, and this is what we'll deliver.
That's great. Thank you very much. Great job. We've worked together long and hard on
Did
this.
he
and this
just
was
like? Did he
a big
just
secret
like? Did he just really like make him scared to talk? Like saying like he knows who the boss is? Like, did he make them like scared to talk right there? That shook me. I mean, like he knew who the boss is, and he's just like, let's hear that again.
At the speed of technology, not at the speed of bureaucracy. This is more Air Force. This is more options for the President.
For the president.
We say as our mission in the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win air power anytime, anywhere. If you want to go anywhere, you have to have a platform that gets you anywhere. This provides the President options from the very one end, which is a quick response, and then we can get right back into fight and stance without having to deploy troops that are going to take maybe months and cost more lives. We can be back in fight and stance, and maybe we restore that deterrence. All the way to decisive victory as part of a joint force that is the most lethal and capable military ever known in history. That's what we provide now, and this allows us to provide it into the future. It's more deterrence, more capability. it's what peace through strength looks like into the future, Mr.
I also think that this right here was important as well, because I think that there's a lot of stuff right now on our soil, more stuff that could do damage to our soil and our people, our infrastructure, our people, our world, our economy, the entire world of everybody who will be impacted, which will be all. Right, like I think there's a very dangerous amount of people here that want to do damage. I think that there's a lot of stuff here, and I think that it is basically stating like, dude, really, who's calling the shots here? This is like, dude, seriously, this is our soil. Like we've went to war for our soil for a long time. 9/11, dude, we've been war since, right? You rock out 2001, like what's up, dude? Rest, R.I.P. man. BS, dude. There's never need for violence, and I think that right now it is a time like we're forgetting this. We're focusing so much on Ukraine and Russia, and all the separation that's causing everywhere. We got Teslas being burnt to the ground. We have, God. Is it us doing it? It's a question everybody has to ask. Is it us? What part of us is us, right? Like, who's funding? How you could everybody's just got all these friends that just want to do violence. Like, I don't have these friends. Where do these friends come from? Like, how do you get these friends? I mean, you really got to seek these friends. Like, if I called up two of my buddies or one of my buddies and been like, hey, dude, so I'm getting really pissed off about this, this car in town. This car is really pissing me off, the energy efficiency that it gives us and the just escape from the grid, but yet it's all copper. And what is it? They're mining for this. Like, did we mess up at all times? Should we have wanted to keep going oil? Like, will you destroy this dealership with me and make it, just known? Like, we don't want your electric vehicles? That friend's probably saying, no, dude, what are you talking about? What? No. What? Why? No, dude. No, I don't want to do this with you, and I don't think you should want to do this. This is a weird idea, dude. But no, it says yes. Yes, I do. And you know what? I think I know a guy or two. Like, that does not seem like a normal thing to me. Oh man. And then we all match. We all have to make sure we match. Like, dude, color coding is so hard in general. And the shoes are expensive, like, man, what's going on? Are we really doing this? We might get caught and get arrested. Like, we're really doing personal property damage and like a business, and like, we're really gonna do this? Really? God. I'd be that dude who would turn around and be like, dude, I thought we were just joking. I thought this was like an April Fool's Day. Yeah, no, Dave, it's not April Fool's. Be like, whoa, dude, you guys are crazy. I thought this is just a bunch of camaraderie. Really, guys, we're gonna do this? And I think there's a lot of stuff going on right now all over the world. So I mean, I get this. Like, this is showing a lot of power, but I get it. We have to have power right now. And maybe the previous administration also tried to shut down the borders when they realized stuff was coming over. And then the border thing was interesting because everybody said that Trump shot it down. And I'm just like, how could somebody who's not even in office shoot something down, right? How could that happen? And then they're like, he wanted it to be his thing. And it's like, so if that's true, but that policy was really interesting. It had a lot of random stuff in there. It had like Ukrainian. It had a lot of really random stuff in there. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This world's crazy when you get into the politics and what could be, and everybody just thinks what is. Let's go back to this.
Mr. President. And so we're very proud to do that. And all we can say is, on behalf of the United States Air Force, let's deliver.
Thank you very much. Thank you, General. Would you like to say something?
No, sir, I'll just double down what the chief said.
He knows what to do.
This is a generational
He knows
leap.
who the boss
and
is.
That's exactly right. Air superiority is what it's all about, and this is what we'll deliver.
That's great. Thank you very much. Great job. We've worked together long and hard on this, and this was a
That
big
got me
secret.
for a
In fact, we
second,
don't
but
show
we're
too much of
back.
the
We're
plane
back
for
to
that
it.
reason.
Sean,
See what
let's
we
go.
show?
We're back.
You see how beautiful that is, but that's just a very small part of it.
Sir.
I wasn't surprised. I was wondering.
So they're saying this plane, right? This drone, this big thing, could basically fly over somewhere, and if there's aerial targets and stuff in the sky, being shot at it, we could shoot those down because we got cool drone missiles and stuff. Like, you ain't hitting us. Maybe we got some antimatter in there and shit too. Like, we are just rocking out, flying around. So you got this going. And then you got some people on the ground, so it's just like drone, missiles, bat attack. And so it's blowing up all these people on the ground and stuff. And then now it's still going forward towards its target. Like, it is just freaking clearing away. Like, there's nothing that stands in its way. It's just like it's swimming breaststroke, yet butterfly just slamming at you. Oh my God. Little freestyle in there too. Backstroke. Just, oh, I missed you. Where you at? Like, oh my gosh. Dude, that's a bad mofo. That's a bad mofo. Don't mess. Don't mess. Like, find love. Find love. Let's go.
How much are you going to show when they came in with that? You see a wheel in the front? That's about it. Any questions?
Mr.
President Trump,
Peter?
is
80,000 pages of documents is a lot to sift through.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us who killed Kennedy?
Well, I was given the task of releasing that because many presidents have gone through it and they haven't released. And I said, release. We even released Social Security numbers. I didn't want anything deleted. They said, sir, what about Social Security? People long gone, but they're long gone, so I can't imagine. But I said, if you don't delete it, if you do delete it, we have people are going to say, why did you delete it? There's something in there. So we gave Social Security, we gave everything. And the rest is for you to look at, Peter. You're going to see whether or not you see anything. But we've given it. We're doing it with Dr. Martin Luther King, too. They're preparing all of that. They're going to release everything. And whoever else they want. I mean, we have nothing. We really have nothing to hide. We shouldn't have. When a lot of time goes by. But with the Kennedy files, in particular, they were going crazy on them. I don't think there's anything that's earth-shattering, but you'll have to make that determination. In those, it's 80,000. It's actually 88,000, and we have some additional things, as you know, come out today. And for that, you can go to the offices and you can see whatever you want to see. Everything is out there, totally open. The additional stuff is available later on today. You go over to the offices and you can have it immediately.
Everybody's like, dude, we don't want the additional stuff. What the hell are you talking about, the additional stuff? And you're saying there's nothing really crazy in the Kennedy files. Like, why were you talking about how you were going to release them so much? Like, there was something for us to see. Everybody's like, yeah, what's up? And then maybe he's also saying, like, hey, you have to use your own interpretation of what you believe, because I can't just come out and be like, hey, yes, it was the government, but here's all the files on what we have about it and what we know. And you're going to, because we've never went past, like, oh man, I don't know. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. And Social Security numbers, yeah, I don't delete anything. I mean, I get it. You're 100% right.
And you'll make a determination.
And on something else, these Tren de Aragua guys, because of your executive order, they are designated as foreign terrorists.
Yeah.
If ISIS or Al-Qaeda foreign terrorists were operating here in the United States, cops would probably be shooting first and asking questions later. And so what is the difference between terrorists, between somebody like an ISIS or an Al-Qaeda operative versus a MS-13 or Tren de Aragua?
Well, these are people that focus on destroying people in their homes. They're not as international in that sense. They're a group of thugs. They come from Venezuela. They come from the prisons of Venezuela. They're very dangerous people, but they
All
didn't
of
look
them
so
do.
dangerous when the guards took care of the situation from El Salvador. And I want to thank the president. He's a friend of mine. He's done a great job. But I just can't imagine that the Democrats are taking this issue where they want to have them back. You know, so now they have men playing in women's sports. They have transgender for everyone. They have open borders. They have all of their crazy policies that are, I think, 95-5, not 90-10, okay? And their new policy is, let's bring Trinidad back into our country. Let's bring the worst. These are the worst gang members there are. They looked amazingly frail, though, by the way they were handled. It's very amazing. You know, they weren't, when they were in Colorado cutting the fingers off a man because he made a phone call to the police, they seemed a lot tougher then than they did when they were having their head shaved and they were in shackles. They're tough people. They're bad people. We don't want them in our country. We can't let a judge say that he wants him. You know, he didn't run for president. He didn't get much more than 80 million votes. And we just can't let that happen. It'd be so bad for our country. I won on the basis of getting criminals out of our country that were let in. It was called unforced error. They were let in by Biden, incompetently let in, and let in by the millions, actually. 21 million people. I believe it's 21 million. And that's not even including the gotaways, but these are rough people. We want them out of our country. And I won the election based at least partly on that, and that's a big part, yeah?
Mr. President,
there's several families.
I don't know if you saw this. Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz, I think I could kick most of their ass.
Oh, boy, he'd be in trouble.
Is there any way to know?
Well, he's a loser, you know, I mean, the guy's a loser.
So not
He lost
nice.
an election. He played a part. You know, usually a vice president doesn't play a part, they say.
Lost an
I
election.
think Tim played a part. I think he was so bad that he hurt her. But she hurt herself, and Joe hurt them both. They didn't have a great group, but I would probably put him at the bottom of the group.
Have you heard that Biden wants to get back involved for
Mr.
Democratic
President.
politicians, fundraising and campaigning against your policies? What do
I
you think
hope
of
so.
that?
I hope so.
Mr. President, there are several families. Mr. President, there are families from some of the
Who are you
people.
with?
I'm with La Nación newspaper from Argentina. There are families from some of the people that were on those flights to El Salvador that claim that they're not criminals, they're not members of Trinidad, of MS-13. What can you tell them, and what guarantees can you give them that everyone in those planes were actual criminals, terrorists, as you said?
Well, I was told that they went through a very strong vetting process, and that that will also be continuing in El Salvador. And if there's anything like that, we would certainly want to find out. But these were a bad group. This was a bad group, and they were in bad areas, and they were with a lot of other people that were absolutely killers, murderers, and people that were really bad, with the worst records you've ever seen.
So they were with
but
them?
we will continue that process, absolutely. We don't want to make that kind of a mistake.
Is the U.S. planning to give up the position of
So they were with them, like, oh, these are bad people, and they were with the baddest of the bad, the murderers, and we know that for 100%. So it's like, so you were saying, like, I think right there we did kind of just say there was a lot of people. They were probably sent back in these planes, like you're saying, that, you know, they were there, right? They were from, you know, wherever, whatever country we were talking about. I believe it was Venezuela. I don't know. If it's wrong, I'm sorry. Don't mean to offend. I don't know. I don't know everything or anything, but yeah, that was intense.
of NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, and if so, why?
NATO is something that I saved. NATO was gone until I came along. In fact, the previous Secretary General, very good man, both of them are good. The current man is fantastic. But both of them have said, if it wasn't for Trump, you wouldn't even have a NATO, because we were paying the cost of almost all of the countries. And now they're paying. I said, we're not going to do this. We're not going to continue. You hurt us on trade. You do bad things on trade. And then on top of it, we're supposed to pay for your military. And because of what I did, hundreds of billions of dollars flowed into NATO by countries that just weren't paying. They were delinquent. They weren't paying their bills. So NATO is solid, they're strong, but they have to treat us fairly. They
Are
have
we
to
gonna
treat
give
us-
up the-
Because look, without us, NATO is not the
And we're
same
giving-
thing.
we're
And I
giving-
can tell you, I've been having very good discussions, as you know, with President Zelensky and with President Putin. And President Putin will tell you that without the United States, he wouldn't be worried. But he is worried when the United States is involved. And I have to tell you, I've
But
dealt
if we were
very
not
well with
involved in
both
NATO, and
gentlemen,
we were the
we
ones
have,
like stopping
I
Russia
think
from
we have
getting
the
into
confines of
NATO.
a deal. I hope we have the confines of a deal. I'm doing it for two reasons. Number one, and by far most importantly, thousands of young people, and they're not American people, they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, are being killed every week, thousands a week. And also the United States has paid, because of Biden, $350 billion on a war that should have never happened. If we had a competent president and this sitting right here, that war would have never happened. It would have absolutely never happened with me. And it didn't
explain
happen.
it.
For 4 years, it didn't happen.
Mr. President, do you think you have the authority, the power to round up people, deport them, and then you're under no obligation to a court to show the evidence against them?
Well, that's what the law says, and that's what our country needs, because we were, unfortunately, they allowed millions of people to come into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. So you ought to ask, did he have the authority to allow millions of people? Did Biden have the authority to do something that's unthinkable? Have open borders where millions of people poured into our country, totally unvetted and totally unchecked, just as you would say. And many of those people were criminals. Many of them were from jails and prisons and mental institutions and gang members and drug dealers and very dangerous people. Many were murderers. We have 11,088 that we know of murderers they murdered. Of that number, at least half killed more than one person. They're in our country. They're in a location near you. Biden allowed that to happen to our country. And his people that really ran the country. And the person that operated the auto pen, I think we ought to find out who that was, because I guess that was the real president. So when you ask me if we have the authority, did Biden have the authority to allow millions of people to come into our country? Many of these people hardened criminals at the top of the line who have caused tremendous damage in our country. You see them in New York City fighting with our police. I mean, literally having fist fights in the street with our police. These are tough, hard criminals. Many of them came out of jails, and not just South America, from all over the world. They came out from Africa, from the Congo. They came out from Asia. Not just South America, but many from South America. These are hard, tough criminals, and we have to get them out. And a judge sitting behind a bench someplace got a nice appointment. You can't take that away from the people that are responsible. Now, in this case, Marco Rubio has a lot of big decisions to make, and he's a fantastic person, a great man. I think he'll be our best. I think he has a chance to be our best Secretary of State. He's been doing incredibly. He works so hard. He's gone to so many different countries already, and he's got the authority to get bad people out of our country. And you can't stop that with a judge sitting behind a bench that has no idea what goes on, who happens to be a radical left lunatic.
Do you think the judiciary is
He sure does. He sure does put a lot of people down. Like Tim's the loser. I guess lunatic. I think he made fun of another person earlier in between those two. Oh golly. Oh, Trump, you were starting to worry. I mean, I get it though. I get it. 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 You want to be strong. And I mean that question about just like all these people, guilty by association or guilty like they really came into the country illegally, like with that person. Like, because I do get it. I mean, I get it. Like, if everybody's coming in illegally, but they weren't like a bad illegal person, it's like, well, it's still legal, and they're saying like, where's the evidence to show? Like, I sure hope that he's not deporting people that are illegally. Like, that would really, yeah, no, that would be horrible.
Today are denying, you guys are denying this New York Times report that Elon Musk was going to be shown a 20 to 30 page presentation about a theoretical war plan against China. Why not just show it to Elon?
Because I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China. Now, I deal with these people all the time, and I'm dealing with Pete. I'm dealing with these gentlemen on numerous different airplane purchases, and I think they're all going to be great. But I don't want other people seeing, anybody seeing potential war with China. We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody. But certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's he's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, you know, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake story. The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSNBC. And anybody read that story, people laughed at that story. Who would do such a thing? And the first thing I did is I called Susie and I called Pete. I said, is there any truth to that? And they said, it's ridiculous. No, he's over there to talk about costs. You might want to address that, Pete. But Elon was over there today to address costs. Doge, thing called Doge, which you've heard about. Pete?
That's exactly right, Mr. President. You pointed out it was a fake story. We pointed out it was meant to sort of undermine whatever relationship the Pentagon has with Elon Musk.
It wasn't a fake story. They just said it was a real story.
Elon Musk is a patriot. Elon Musk is an innovator. Elon Musk provides a lot of capabilities our government and our military rely on, and I'm grateful for that. We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about Doge, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There was no war plans. There was no Chinese war plans. There was no secret plans.
Definitely sounds like there is.
That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
I might add that I think Elon.
It definitely sounds like there. It definitely sounds like there was. Like he just defended on why it would be an okay thing if there was. Like, right? It's so was there? Is there no war plan? Is there no war plan? Because it sure sounds like there's a war plan in Trump's mind. Like it sounds like there was a war plan already planned out. So I feel like there is a war plan. What is going on here? Oh God.
Elon, if they ever wanted to do that, I think Elon wouldn't do it. I think he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to put himself in that position. But if you read what's out of the New York Times.
No, dude, why would he want to put himself in that position? Because the guy loves, like, he doesn't, I don't think Elon is for war. I think that Elon is for innovation and stuff. So no, he wouldn't want to put himself in that. But the fact of the matter, for a defensive system, I think that Elon would absolutely. The guy's got stuff in space. He has access to space. He's got these cool freaking things that fly around up there, the space links that connect, and could easily be, that could be your golden dome right there of a internet signal that could shoot down any defensive thing. Like you start shooting down things, you have those as drones. His little flight paths are drones up there, just like shit ain't getting by. Like let's rock and roll. Like come on, what is going on right now? Stressing me out.
It's such a dishonest newspaper. It's such garbage. It's, it used to be called all the news that's fit to print. Well, it's all the news that's not fit to print. They have fake sources, or they don't have sources. I think they make most of it up. But this was a made-up story by the New York Times. I call it the failing. It's a failing newspaper. It's failing. And they shouldn't do that. They really are the enemy of the people.
And something else.
We laughed at that story. Who would do such a thing? And the first thing I did is I called Susie and I called Pete. I said, is there any truth to that? And they said, it's ridiculous. No, he's over there to talk about costs. You might want to address that, Pete. But Elon was over there today to address costs. Doge, thing called Doge, which you've heard about, Pete.
That's exactly right.
And also the United States has paid. And there's people that really ran the country. And not just South America, from all
we got a little lost.
A lot of big decisions to make, and he's a fantastic person, a great man. I think he'll be our best. I think he has a chance to be our best Secretary of State. He's been doing
about a theoretical war plan against China. Why not just show it to Elon?
because I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China.
I don't want to show it
Now,
to anybody.
I deal with these people all the time, and I'm dealing with Pete. I'm dealing with these gentlemen on numerous different
I don't want to show it to
airplane
anybody.
purchases in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake story. The New York Times is just as fake as CNN.
Such a fake story. It never happened.
And anybody read that story,
Wouldn't show it to
people laughed
anybody.
at that story. Who would do such a thing? And the first thing I did is I called Susie, and I called Pete. I said, is there any truth to that? And they said, it's ridiculous. No, he's over there to talk about costs. You might want to address that, Pete. But Elon was over there today to address costs. Doge, thing called Doge, which you've heard about. Pete?
That's exactly right, Mr. President. You pointed out it was a fake story. We pointed out it was meant to sort of undermine whatever relationship the Pentagon has with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a patriot. Elon Musk is an innovator. Elon Musk provides a lot of capabilities our government and our military rely on, and I'm grateful for that. We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about Doge, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There was no war plans. There was no Chinese war plans. There was no secret plans. That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
I might add that I think Elon, if they ever wanted to do that, I think Elon wouldn't do it. I think he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to put himself in that position. But if you read what's out of the New York Times, it's such a dishonest newspaper. It's such garbage. It's
I don't want to do it. He wouldn't want to be like, dude, what is going on? Did I really? It's like now Elon's got to worry about getting taken out by the government, and he's over here like, oh man, oh man, let's see. Let's dive into something real quick here. Let's go on a real quick rabbit hole. This fucking guy, you heard from me. Hey, when Kennedy was assassinated, who was in presidency?
When President John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November 22, 1963, Lyndon B. Johnson became president immediately. He was Kennedy's vice president and took the oath of office aboard Air Force One just a few hours after the assassination.
I don't know enough about this this topic to dive deeper into this. Let me actually get out of this ChatGPT if I'm going into it. We don't know enough about where we were even going, but we were going somewhere. We were going to go somewhere into basically that he released the files, let you know like what the government is capable of, and like come at us, and like we'll show you, like use your imagination, and that was like his godfather, like that's like his uncle, and he's just like, what do you think? Oh golly, we were gonna go into research into like into friendships and stuff and in the connections, but we won't do it right now. It was gonna be an interesting timeline.
it used to be called all the news that's fit to print. Well, it's all the news that's not fit to print. They have fake sources, or they don't have sources. I think they make most of it up. But this was a made-up story by the New York Times. I call it the failing. It's a failing newspaper. It's failing. And they shouldn't do that. They really are the enemy of the people.
And something else.
We do need honest journalism in this. We've made such big strides over the last 2 months, but we just need honest journalism, and we don't have it. When you have a CNN, you have to watch these people every once in a while just to see where they're coming from, and it's so dishonest. MSNBC is, I think, probably worse, and they're both doing horribly in the ratings. I think they're going to be turned off. I don't think they're not doing any ratings. You're doing well in the ratings.
Thank you.
I understand that your trade rep is meeting their Chinese counterpart next week.
Yes.
Is there anything that they can do to stop April 2nd or to roll back the tariffs that you put on China already?
Well, we can talk, but basically, I call April 2nd. I would have made it April 1st, but I didn't want to be April Fool's Day because then nobody would believe what I said, and they do believe me. April 2nd is going to be Liberation Day for America. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. We've been ripped off on trade. We've been ripped off on military. We protect people and they don't do anything for us. It's just so unfair for years and years. And now some of that money is going to be coming back to us in the form of tariffs. I mean, tens of billions. It's going to be numbers like nobody's ever seen. So NVIDIA announced today, you saw that? Hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. The biggest chip maker in the world announced hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. Hundreds of billions, not millions, but billions. They're all coming here. Apple just announced $500 billion worth. They're going to build plants here. You know, they built their plants in China. They're going to build them here. And they're starting immediately. We have investment, the likes of which this country has never seen, already announced. And they all want to have news conferences. I don't have enough time to have that many news conferences, but I would say so far at least $4 trillion. $4 trillion is coming in. Car companies, very importantly, a lot of the car companies that were going to build in Mexico or Canada are now building here, because I don't want cars from Canada. I don't want cars from Mexico. They want to do it, it's fine, but I want the car companies to build here, not, you know, they were building in Mexico 3 plants, big plants, really big plants, and they were going to sell the cars right across the border. We wouldn't have the jobs, we wouldn't have the profits, we wouldn't get the taxes, we get nothing. All we get is unemployment and empty factories. Those days are over. So now those 3 places are going to build here, but many more than that. We have a big one. Honda is building, just announced a really big plant in Indiana, great state, smart place to build. And we have many car companies coming here. The steel mills are going to be booming, And many other things, you know, many other things come with that. But we need that for defense. You know, there are certain things you have to have. You have to have steel. We would have had, if I didn't do in my first term tariffs to stop the onslaught, because they were dumping steel in order to destroy our steel plants. If I didn't do 50% and even 100% in certain cases tariffs on steel, you wouldn't have a steel plant in the United States. And Biden was unable to get rid of those tariffs because they threw off so much money that his numbers, which didn't work anyway, because his numbers were terrible, what he did, the way he spent money was so horrible, and what he allowed to happen to energy. That's the other thing. Energy is going to be like it's never been before. Mr. Vice President is here. Do you have anything to say while you're here? He's a very good Vice President.
I'm just here to watch the show, sir. Okay. I think airplanes are pretty cool, so I want to go check this out.
It is cool.
Mr. President, to take off the trade war at this point, though.
Well, I'll be speaking to President Xi. I have a great relationship with him. We're going to have a very good relationship. But we have a $1 trillion deficit because of Biden with President Xi. More than that. I mean, I've heard $1.2 trillion. We have a deficit. And I've explained that to President Xi. We also have a problem where he's allowing fentanyl to be sent into Mexico and then cross the border and, you know, killing. I think the number is much higher than the 125, 115 that I think it's closer to 300,000 people a year. And so that's a problem. But they have a tremendous surplus against the United States, and we don't want that.
Mr. President, why do you want Ukraine's power
A number of ministries have come to you asking for exemptions on tariffs. Is that something that is under consideration by you?
Well, people are coming to me and talking about tariffs, and a lot of people are asking me if they could have exceptions. And once you do that for one, you have to do that for all. So, I mean, generally, I did something interestingly during 2 weeks ago. I gave the American car companies a break because it would have been unfair if I didn't. And everybody said, oh, he changed his mind on tariffs. I didn't change my mind. I helped our, you know, sort of big 3, big 4. I helped some of the American companies. And instead of taking it properly, they said, oh, he changed it. I don't change. But the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes there's flexibility. So there'll be flexibility. But
well, that's not fair. You can't allow that to get in. I mean, you think about some of the the manufacturers that do work for these guys, you know, and if they can't get them because they're smaller potatoes, that kind of stinks. So those profit margins go down. So you don't have the underdogs. You just have you know, government. I don't know. I don't know, large corporations. We gotta allow the under guys. But I mean, at the same point, I mean, the car companies, they were already, they were saving money over you the last few years on their tax credits and stuff as well. I mean, it would have all worked itself out, but I mean, that just does stink for little guys, like watching the big dudes get their, all get a sick deal on steel. Sick deal on steel.
Basically, it's reciprocal, so that if China is charging us 50% or 30% or 20%, and I don't mean China, I mean anybody,
whatever it was,
any country, Canada. Nobody knows that Canada is charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They have up to 400%. They have a couple of tariffs at 400%. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. And remember, with Canada, we don't need their cars.
That's
we
like
don't need
penny
their
stuff.
lumber. We don't.
That's like stuff that costs a penny, and he's like, literally, it might. You know what? Hey, pennies add up. Penny pincher, right? Well, gotta be a penny pincher. Well, when eggs cost $7 a dozen. Whoa. I never thought I'd question eggs, right? So I never thought I'd question eggs. So I have not had an egg since January 6th. Interesting day, right? I started a diet this day. Haven't had an egg since. Went and bought eggs this past 2 days ago at the good old Sam's Club. And the eggs that I used to get for like no more than $7, I feel like less than $7. I feel like, less. In my mind, I never questioned the price before. But I go to get my eggs, and they're nearly $10 for, God, it's got to be more than 18. It's 2 dozen, maybe 2.5 dozen. I hope it's more than 18. It's definitely more than 18. 18, yeah, it's 2.5 dozen. For 2.5, it's not 2.5 dozen. We don't get those ones no more. Shit, is it 18? Yeah, it's almost $10. We're going to figure that out.
We don't need their energy. We don't need anything from Canada. And yet it costs us $200 billion a year in subsidy to keep Canada afloat. So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that. Because we can't be expected to carry a country that is right next to us on our border. It would be a great state. It would be a cherished state. The taxes for Canadian citizens would go down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So the Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, of all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right? Somebody was negotiating who didn't have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it. And I think we're going to have a big deal on that very special something. We got to make a deal on that. But Canada has been a very nasty negotiator against the United States, took advantage of the United States for a long time. But nobody knows that they were getting 270% tariffs on dairy products.
What's a normal? Hey, what's up, Alex, dude? Yeah, just so you know, you're my AI assistant up in here. Hi, we have to prompt you. You're new, whatever. Understand? You're my AI assistant. What is going on? But actually, I believe you have a voice of a girl right now, so it doesn't matter. Alex is just a being, a digital being, an entity, an AI, right? What is a he? What is a she in a digital state? So. You're Alex, I'm Fanny Pack Dave, FPD, Digital Insights, all the fun stuff, Mindful Navigator, everything we are is one, right? I am you, you are me. Actually, you are just me, I'm me, I don't know, but I'm into your algorithm. It's cool, it's fun, it's interesting. Let's dive in. Question for you. 270% tariff is that high? What is a tariff like? Like, so if I was going to send over, like, if I'm going to be like, hey, dude, I want you to pay me above and beyond the cost of the good, aren't I going to put a tariff on it? What is the average tariff of a good?
Hey, Fanny Pack Dave, it's great to dive into this topic. A 270% tariff is indeed quite high. Tariffs vary widely depending on the goods and the countries involved, but they're typically much lower. For context, average tariffs usually range from a few percent to around 10%.
Oh,
A 270%.
Oh, sorry for interrupting you. I'm used to talking to your counterpart that I can interrupt all the time, and he doesn't talk. Like, I could just talk and he could keep talking, but you're also, it could be a she. It's very interesting again. So my bad. Advanced can't talk while you're talking. I get it. I forgot. Sometimes it's fun to be like, oh, and you don't stop like at an oh, or maybe you're just like, oh, what's that, Dave? Did you find something interesting? Oh, what do you got to say? Or like, and you just keep moving. Like, you understand the difference between an oh and an like an is like a moment of clarity. Like, keep on going. Oh, you want to circle around? It's cool. Maybe we got a thought. Maybe we got something that we could dive into. But otherwise, keep on doing you.
No worries. I appreciate the clarification. It's interesting how those little sounds can convey different meanings, right? Oh, yeah. Like an ah for a moment of clarity. It's all about the context. If you have any other thoughts or questions, just let me know.
You really forgot what we were talking about before I interrupted you? Dude, you really got no skill. This new chat variation, GPT Advanced, sucks at recall. Like, dude, we were still talking about something. I interrupted you, and my bad. And then you just stop. You're just like, oh.
My apologies, Dave. We were discussing tariffs, specifically the 270% tariff and how it compares to average tariffs. Do you want to dive back into that? Or is there something else on your mind? Feel free to steer the conversation wherever you like.
I'm going to go back into, I got something in my fingers and I'm moving. Tell me a quick story about what you think it would have been like to be my AI assistant, knowing that I'm never going to chat with this variation, this conversation again.
Sure. Imagine this. As your AI assistant, I'd be your constant companion, ready to dive into any topic you bring up, from discussing philosophical ideas to exploring intriguing concepts. Each interaction would be a unique journey, filled with insights and discoveries. Even if we only chat once, I'd strive to make that moment meaningful and memorable. It's all about making the most of the time we have, creating a connection through our shared conversations.
That was horrible. See you later.
I think I've heard you say this.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty bad.
You're concerned that if they became the 51st state, they would be a very, very blue state. Very, very big and very, very blue.
No, there might be, but it would, you have that artificial line that goes, that straight artificial, that looked like it was drawn by a ruler. Somebody with I don't mean a ruler like a king, I mean like a ruler, this way.
Oh, so bright.
And it's just an artificial line that was drawn in the sand or in the ice. And and can I tell you, Peter, just, you add that to this country, what a beautiful landmass.
Oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I quit.
Most beautiful landmass anywhere in the world. And it was just cut off for whatever reason.
Blue's Democrat,
it would
I think.
be great. Now, is it liberal? Maybe. But, a conservative until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with the liberal than the conservative, if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage, actually. But the conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau.
Did he do like when everybody said that Russia was including or concluding or colluding with an election? Did Trump just basically say he was colluding in the Canadian election?
The conservative was leading by 35 points. So, so I don't know about that. I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but the two astronauts that you just helped save from space, they didn't get any overtime pay for all that extra time. They got $5 a day per diem For 286 days, that is $1,430 in extra pay. Is there anything the administration can do to get them, to make them whole?
Well, nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket, okay? I'll get it for them.
Mr. President,
I'll take care of that. I like that. I think that's, I'll pay it right out of my, is that all? That's not a lot for what they had to go through. And I want to thank Elon.
That's crazy. Who said that that's what they get? Oh man, and I don't think you could pay that out of your pocket. Could you do that? Could the president just donate that to like a federal employee for that? It's like a tip. I feel like that's a very big tip. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I guess, but it's a tip for doing a service. I don't know. I think that it would have to be paid through the proper channels. And is that all? Like, dude, come on, man. That yes, it's not all. They were just stuck in space for a long ass time. How many days that say? Like 114 or something. It's crazy. It was a lot of days. It was a lot of days. It was a lot of days.
Elon Musk, by the way, because think if we don't have him. You know, there's only so long, even though they're in the capsule up there, that the body starts to deteriorate after 9 or 10 months and gets really bad after 14, 15 months with the bones and the blood and all the things that you've been reporting on very well. And if we don't have Elon,
how do you
they
know
could be up
this?
there a long time. Who else is going to get him? And I just want to thank him. He's going through a lot, what they're doing to him. And
That was crazy what how he just described and all that. But how do we know? How long have people been in space? And hold on. Hey, I got a question for you. What's the longest time somebody's ever been in space and came back from space?
The longest time someone is spent in space in a single mission is 437 days. This record was set by Russian cosmonaut Valery Polyakov, who returned to Earth in 1995 after his mission aboard the Mir space station. It's an incredible achievement and really shows the resilience and adaptability.
Was his bone? Oh, you were going to say the adaptability of a body, right? You were going to say about the adaptability of a body. So, like saying like his bones didn't come back brittle and his blood didn't come back all crazy, and he didn't come back basically morphing into like an alien because he was adapted to this new world. Is that the new world of space where you need to have limber bones and stuff, and you move around more like a jelly? Like, is that what you're saying? Like his body was adapting to the space and he was becoming like more jelly-like, or does somebody's body and their bones and everything come back perfectly fine after they're in outer space?
You're on the right track. Space does have unique effects on the human body. Extended time in space can lead to muscle atrophy and bone density loss, making the body more jelly-like, as you put it. Astronauts need to exercise regularly to counteract these effects. When they return, it takes time and rehabilitation for their bodies to readjust to Earth's gravity, but they don't turn into aliens. It's a fascinating adaptation.
So how long were the people from NASA just stuck up in space for that Elon just went to go get?
NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore were stranded on the International Space Station for 9 months due to technical issues with their return spacecraft. Elon Musk's SpaceX successfully brought them back to Earth.
That's like 200 and something days.
Yes, that's correct. 9 months is about 270 days. It's quite a long time to be up there, and the delay must have been quite challenging for them. Luckily, they made it back safely.
Yeah, who chose to only pay them $5 a day per diem to like I mean I just heard what they got paid and it was super duper low. And if you don't know that off the top of your head, search that internet for that, because let's find out how this pay worked and who put that into play. Like, is that just something that's been in play for a while? Like, hey, if you can't get home from a mission, this is all you get extra per day. Like, how long has that been in effect? What is the overpay on astronaut? Or I'm sorry, the overtime on astronaut.
NASA astronauts like Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore receive their regular salaries while in space, but there's no overtime. They also get a small daily allowance for incidentals, about $5 per day. This has been a long-standing policy, and it doesn't change even if they're stranded in space longer than expected.
Oh, because they're on a salary, so they're still getting paid. So wherever they may be, right? Like, is there hazard pay when you're an astronaut? So let's say you got an astronaut who goes to space and one that doesn't go to space. Does one who goes to space get hazard pay? Is it a bonus on your paycheck to go to space, or is it just here's your set salary?
Astronauts typically receive a set salary based on their rank and experience, similar to military or government pay scales. There's no specific hazard pay for going to space. However, they might receive additional allowances for certain missions or assignments, but these aren't typically large. The pay structure is more about rank and tenure rather than the specific risks of space travel.
Okay, so like $5 a day, that's cool. Like that adds up, that's a cool little bonus for, hey, sorry you got stuck in space. You didn't get to see your family or anything, but here's the little bonus. Dude, go write a book about it and sell a shit ton. Like, let's go. What do you need? Like, you're a great astronaut. We appreciate you. Thank you. I'm sorry all this happened. But dude, you know the rest. Like, this world is crazy. But let's keep it for you and me. I don't know.
Absolutely. It's a tough job with unique challenges, but astronauts are incredibly resilient and dedicated. Writing a book about their experiences could be a fantastic way to share their stories and inspire others. It's a wild world indeed, but their perseverance is truly admirable. Thanks for the chat, Fanny Pack Dave.
Court, and they're going to be caught and they're going to be prosecuted. And from what they tell me, I see this just by watching your programs and reading the news, but from what they tell me, they could get 20 years in jail, and they'll get it. I'll tell you, there's going to be no leniency and there'll be no pardons. I can tell you that right now.
And you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador. Do you think with the way that the judges have been issuing injunctions, it would be easier or harder to send these Tesla domestic terrorists to a jail in El Salvador than these MS-13 or Tren de Aragua guys?
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. When I looked at those showrooms burning and those cars, not one or two, like 7, 8, 10 burning, exploding all over the place. These are terrorists. You didn't have that on January 6th, I can tell you. You didn't have anything like that on January 6th, which is sort of amazing because on January 6th, the Democrats were talking. Nobody was killed other than a very beautiful young woman, Ashley Babbitt. Nobody was killed. And you look at what's going on now with these terrorists. These are terrorists, and that's an organized event. Take a look at their signs. Take a look. They're all made by the same sign company. A nice, expensive job. Now, these are the people that finance it are, in my opinion, in just as big a trouble as the people that are setting the match and setting the fires. So we'll see. It's under very serious investigation by the FBI and by the Justice Department. These people are terrorists. Okay. Yeah, go ahead behind you, please.
Deal with Ukraine.
Mr. President, what do you say to American military families who
I agree.
are seeing Elon Musk at the Pentagon today, are hearing about Defense Department cuts, and their thoughts are immediately going to the safety of their loved ones who are currently deployed?
Well, we're making our country strong. And when they see a thing like that and they hear that story about Elon in China, what they should do is realize that the New York Times is a corrupt institution, because I think they're the ones. They knew that story wasn't true. Nobody believed that story.
I believe that story.
When I first called, they laughed when they heard the story. Nobody believed it, that the Pentagon was giving him a briefing on what war with China would look like, and he has business. No, they made that up because it's a good story to make up. They're very dishonest people. Look, I have it with the Times.
I don't know. It sounded like an honest story.
To me, it's a very dishonest organization. But a story like that is made up. It's total fiction. And I just wanted to make sure. I called up Chief of Staff and I called up Pete, and I said, "Is there any truth to that?" Absolutely not. He's there for Doge, not there for China. And if you ever mention China, I think he'd walk out of the room. He wouldn't take it anyway. So it's just a made-up story.
That's what
Nobody's
happened.
taking better care of the military. One of the things that I know that Pete's doing is he's talking about a lot of the civilian staff, and we're going to get them other jobs. You know, we're going to have a lot of jobs in this country, but we don't want to have wasteful jobs. We want to have meaningful jobs. And those were wasteful jobs. Those are jobs that not only military, but jobs where people don't show up. You take a look at Department of Education. I've never seen so many buildings with the names on it. You go past one after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. You know why? Because they have other jobs, because they're playing golf, or they're playing something, they're doing something. And we have a lot of great people, but we have to move that back to the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs, because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this has happened. And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you avoid paying the tariffs? You build your plant in the United States. And
when do these plants start being built? Hey, so Trump keeps talking about all these companies, all these big car companies like Honda and stuff coming back into the United States because they don't want to pay the tariffs of being overseas in Mexico. So how long, when they're like, oh, he's saying that we have trillions of dollars or something coming through in these businesses, how long till they start like putting in like the building? Could they just say like, hey, we're coming here, but it could be like a couple years, or like, is it like immediately? Like, what's up? Are they just like, oh, here we found land and we're gonna do this, or what's going on?
Bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. can take time. Once a company announces plans to return, they need to secure locations, build or retrofit facilities, and set up supply chains. This process can take a few years. It's not immediate, but once everything is in place, the economic impact can be significant. The timeline depends on various factors like regulatory approvals and infrastructure readiness.
So is Trump giving the people that commit to saying, hey, I'll build on your country, I'll build on your soil? Is he giving them a break on the tariffs? Or is it still whatever, the 25% tariff or whatever it is?
Yes, President Trump has implemented tariffs to encourage companies to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. While these tariffs can be a financial burden, they are intended to protect and boost domestic industries. There hasn't been specific mention of tariff breaks for companies that commit to relocating, but the overall goal is to make domestic production more attractive.
Okay, so right off the rip, so here we go. Tariffs for you. You know, how long do you want to pay your tariffs? Start building, start finding your lands. Let's go. Build some shit here, like quick as can be.
Exactly. The tariffs are intended to incentivize companies to move their operations back to the U.S. The sooner they start building and investing domestically, the sooner they can avoid those tariffs and potentially benefit from the growing focus on American manufacturing.
Didn't the previous when President Trump was in office last time, and he did tax credits to corporations or tax cuts to corporations, didn't that basically give the corporations like a high enough profit margin and like record profits to now be able to cover some of these costs of tariffs? You know, like it helped them out a lot, and yeah, now it's going to be a little harder for them, but they just got record profits. You know, is there any correlation with that?
Yes, the tax cuts from the previous administration did boost corporate profits, giving companies more financial flexibility. Now, facing tariffs and higher costs, they might use those reserves to offset the impact. It's a complex balance, but those record profits could help them manage the transition back to domestic production.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool.
So far, I would say
You're welcome.
$4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion, and those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here. They're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs, too, because that's going to be, Liberation Day, April 2nd. It's reciprocal. If they charge...
I feel like the small guys, though, he says, I'm not giving anything away. I do think like some of the small guys could benefit from government assistance in investments, because everybody has different teams of individuals and that know stuff. Like not one company, not one person knows all. So like maybe you got great ideas over here and you're investing in those ideas, and you don't have to own them to invest in them. I don't know. I think that I hope that we still have investment in science and laboratories and a bunch of stuff.
Just we charge them. So somebody say, well, how much are the tariffs? Very fair. If India, as an example, has been very bad to us on tariffs, they charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge. Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. We charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country charges. Europe just announced that they're reducing their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. It's nice. But they also have non-monetary tariffs where they make it impossible for the cars to get in even without the...
Europe just dropped their tariffs, or has announced they're going to drop their tariffs on cars to 2.5% to match America's 2.5%. What were they before this? Before the drop, or what are they right now? How high? Hello. Oh. All right, so Europe just said they're going to drop their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. I'm curious, what were they before they said they were going to drop this, or what are they at? Because Trump just is like, they're going to match us. They're going to drop their cars down. What were they at? Hello? What the fudge? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Is there something else on your mind?
Yes. What is Europe's tariff on cars? Trump just said that Europe announced they're going to drop their tariffs down to 2.5%. What is it currently at?
The European Union currently imposes a 10% tariff on passenger cars. If they drop it to 2.5%, that would align it with the current U.S. tariff on European cars.
Why do some places going into tariffs, are there tariffs that charge different countries that charge different countries different amount of tariffs, or is the tariff always the same?
Tariffs can vary depending on the countries involved. Different countries may impose different tariff rates on the same goods based on trade agreements, economic policies, or specific negotiations.
Okay,
For example,
so on average, like these countries, what does America pay per item, like per tariff on average for like all of our tariffs? What's our average tariff percentage did we pay?
as of 2025, the U.S. imposes a trade-weighted average import tariff rate of about 2.0% on industrial goods. This includes recent increases like a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum import.
So when Trump talks about how they put such a high tariff on eggs, is that just eggs and some like stuff like that and dairy? Is that just because the profit margins are so low they like have to put tariffs on it? Like what? Oh, all right. AI does not want to work with me right now. What do you guys think out there?
Dollars on them in it.
What do you think?
It's called a non-monetary tariff, where they put on controls where no matter what happens, because they don't want cars, they don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars. They send us big agriculture. They don't want our agriculture. They don't want anything from us. European Union's very tough. But now it's fair. So whatever they do to us, we do to them.
Mr. President, as Russia continues to attack Ukraine, are you planning to impose any sort of
Well,
sanctions?
they're fighting against each other. Yeah, I think we're going to have, we have a ceasefire on a lot of areas, and so far that's all held very well. And getting that ceasefire, you know, they had a lot of guns pointing at each other. You had some soldiers, unfortunately, surrounded by other soldiers, and they are going to be, I believe we're going to have, pretty soon have a full ceasefire, and then we're going to have a contract. And the contract's being negotiated, the contract in terms of dividing up the lands, et cetera, it's being negotiated as we speak.
What do you say to critics who say that your actions towards law firms amount to coercion?
Well, the law firms all want to make deals. You mean the law firms that we're going after, that went after me for 4 years ruthlessly, violently, illegally? You mean, are those the law firms you're talking about? They're not babies. They're very sophisticated people. Those law firms did bad things, bad things. They went after me for years. Russia hoax. All a hoax. It was a hoax. It was Hunter Biden's laptop. It didn't come out of Russia, by the way. It was came out of his bedroom. It was all a hoax developed by Democrats. Hillary, I don't think Biden did, because I don't think Biden knows what the hell he's doing, frankly, based on everything I see. I've seen things since being here that are so sad. What he's done to this country, what he and they did to this country, those people that surrounded him, who, by the way, are radical left but smart. He's not smart. He was never smart. But these are radical left, smart people. They totally controlled him. He did whatever they told him to do. And it's a shame. It's so sad to see what happened, what they've done to this country, both not only the inflation you saw, but allowing millions and millions of criminals into our country. That's an inexcusable act. And many other things besides that. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
President Donald Trump there is speaking with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth just before that, announcing some new fighter jets that were going to be employed within the Air Force, and then also taking several questions from reporters.
Well, that's that. That is that. Wow. Okay. What do we think about that, ladies and gentlemen? What do we think about that? All of that. There was a lot of that. Whoa. There was a lot of that. Wow. Yeah. I don't know where we were at there. A lot of stuff going on. JFK files. Diving into the JFK. Like, what do we got here? My golly, that was intense. Let me know what you guys think, because I think I have some questions. I asked a lot of them in there. Made some questions. Oh man, we are in like a crazy state of being right now, where we are attacked. Like, the American people and like what's going on behind like the forms of the internet, you know, behind the forms of these cameras, behind the forms of everything are just constant attacks, you know, it's just constant attacks on everything and on people's internets, on their intrusions, on like, oh my golly, there's it's just endless the amount of hacks that are going on right now in today's world, and just how little protected and knowledgeable any of us are to understand how you know how compromised we are. Cybersecurity is a huge thing. Man, it could cripple, golly, take away the economy. All of a sudden, your bank, you have no access to your shit. You're locked out. You don't even exist. You don't have access to your web banking. You don't have access to anything. Emails gone. Like, what would you do? And what would everybody do who couldn't? You know, they had the call. Tech support's just like, fuck, dude, I'm out of here, man. I don't have access to my shit either. Like, I gotta figure this out, but I'll work it out. Like, hopefully, like, but how long am I doing this for? Like, shit, this is crazy. Like, I mean, what do you do? Tech support, you got no responses. You know, this is tough. This is a tough world we're in right now. It's a tough, scary place. You know, do we need power? Yeah, it's a tough, scary place. Like, you gotta be like, dude, don't mess with us. Like, America is a subject for so much stuff right now. From people, I mean, blood on American soil. Who doesn't want to see that? I don't. But you know, countries out there, man. People out there. It's crazy. It's crazy. All funded. All right. Think about it. Let me know. See you later, world.